And I have not looked into this case as I've looked into others, but based on hearsay, it seems as though that the young man was on private property, possibly a private property owned by a condo association or a group of people. Now, again, is that not an insurance issue, folks? I put the question out there. And maybe this could be given over to Trayvon's mother and father. The issue is that the condo association worldwide, have basically a condo association board. And before anyone can do security or any acts like that, it's got to be approved by board members. That means the parties that are in the property are held responsible and liable to anything that goes on the property because of an insurance issue. So if Trayvlon was on actually a condo property, now that usually goes to the sidewalk up until till it becomes a public street. And even if it wasn't a public street, there's a situation of city ordinances and laws. So if this was the case, Zimmerman may have also have a case that could be filed, I would think, maybe, if I did it. If I was me, I would do it, in regards to the civil issue, a civil action. A civil action based on the fact that the condo association is responsible for the tenants, and tenants are a part of the condo association, and therefore they have to vote as members on the security and issue of security on the property. Now, if the property is policed by the police of the city, that's one thing. Now, the police of the city has the right to come into private property and give advice on issues of keeping the property safe and detective carries a gun and also gives him the ability to make arrests and do X, Y, and Z. Now, the reason I'm saying this because I was dealing some time ago with a dog's boss, the bounty hunter. I was dealing with them on my television show in Glen Ellen. And anyway, we talked extensively about these issues concerning the rights of people being able to go out and act as private detectives. Even the bounty hunters, they have the right to go and seek money for payment for bringing out those people that are wanted. And the stories that they told were much more exciting than what was on TV, but I guess they couldn't carry those over to television. But we did it on my show. And the bottom line is that if somebody follows someone, pursues them, and is acting in the authority of a police department, then he needs to be given a badge and the authority in writing or some type of license to do such. If he has none, then he has no authority to do it, so therefore he's acting on his own as a rogue, therefore he's not supported by any law on the books. Now again, if this happened on the condo grounds or grounds of privately held property, and they were fully aware that they were doing police watch or whatever, and a person is killed and murdered, then that family has to go and file a wrongful death claim. I would do that. Look what happened to O.J. That was a situation. He was not convicted of the murder, but the family came back and filed a wrongful death charge against O.J., and he had to pay every single dime he had, including his trophies, for the death of his wife, Nicole, even if he didn't commit it. They did file a wrongful death, and he had enough assets and insurance to cover the amount that was stipulated in the action. Now again, even though there was a situation, there was a trial on the books that said they came in there and bombed the World Trade Center in 1993, they went after Lloyd's of London. Then collapsed. They went after the Lloyd's of London insurance company because that was the only person that could insure that type of magnitude of property, and they almost bankrupt Lloyd's of London from that one suit from 1993. In 2011, the whole thing switched around because then the issue of the World Trade Centers coming down became a situation where the insurer that used to be Lloyd's of London was able to gracefully bow out while Zurich took over the binder for the World Trade Center until another company could take on the binding responsibility. Now, Silverstein. Silverstein only put $100,000 up for 7 World Trade Centers buildings as a deposit. Only $100,000 for billions of dollars of property, folks. Can you do that? Not me. And then he only had the property for a week, but because it was under insurance binder at the time he signed the contract, then whoever it was that was involved with the so-called incident of 9/11, doesn't matter who it was, the insurance company on those buildings, which happened to be AXA, and the other smaller individual company was Zurich, they had to pay billions to Silverstein because he went after the insurance for the property. Same thing if somebody is murdered on private property. The parents have the right to sue the private property on a wrongful death equation. If it happened on a public street, they have the right to sue the city's insurer for wrongful conduct. Now, the bottom line is nobody seems to be on that same page. They're right now worrying about Trayvlon Martin's girlfriend. Oh, she's not talking right. She's not articulate enough for a black person. Come on, for real? She's only a teenage young girl. She's doing the best she can, folks, to explain why some man she's hearing her boyfriend say on the other line is pursuing him. He doesn't know who that is. Could be ABC serial killer. Now, number one, I went on YouTube. I made a comment on YouTube, and somebody posted a comment back to me. Well, did you see Zimmerman's injuries? Well, I could care less about Zimmerman's injuries because A, he shouldn't have pursued somebody that wasn't doing anything. B, he should not have confronted somebody without having a badge of authority to do so, which would have gave him the authority by being A, a detective, B, a police officer, which he was neither. And if he was hired by the condo association, then the condo association is responsible for his conduct, then sue the insurance for the condominium association, and the insurance, if he fell on the street, then the city is responsible to insure and pay for the wrongful death of a young man who did nothing. Now again, we don't think. Same thing that happened in the realm of the mortgage industry. I have told people countless numbers of times about what happened in the industry. Number one, nobody reads contractual agreements full. We rely on Joe Smo, the attorney, or Joe Smo, whoever it is, to do our work for us. And you know what? It's a standardized contract, but the thing is there can be writers added in and other things. Now, you would think that they would come to you and tell you what's going on. Not necessarily. It's your fault because you believe. You trust unto yourself. Read, and then if you have questions then of what is going on, you ask. Ask that attorney. Ask the accountant. Well, this doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. If it doesn't look right to you, it smells of rotten eggs, then you know what it is? Rotten eggs. Don't trust anyone. If you see something that's weird, then you question it to the authorities, and if the authorities refuse to give you an answer for it, then you need to move into another realm. This is Deanne Burley on Deanne Burley Show, which can be found on Blog Talk Radio, And to get to Blog Talk Radio broadcasts, all you need to do is go to blogtalkradio.com/Deanne Burley Show, DANNEBURLEYSHOW, 6 p.m. Central Time, or go to Truth Radio, or go to Blue, BLUBURRY.com, or just Google Deanne Burley and you'll find my shows. Good night, everyone. Anyone want to call me on this issue? 630-863-9971. And if you want information on what happened illegally in the mortgage industry, contact me. Let's talk about the facts of what's going on. Let's talk about what you can do to straighten out maybe the situation with your home.